you, Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe. And ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. So, I'm a reasonably vain person. I think I am. I'm reasonably vain, reasonably egotistical. But even for me, I'm being particularly vain here. I normally do live streams a few times a week here on YouTube. And I open up with an opening monologue, normally about what I'm thinking about at the time, which is normally a mismatch of, biblical stuff, religious stuff, politics, and weird science fiction, right? It all melds together, inside my head, and I blurt it out. It's sometimes entertaining. I'm normally entertained by it, which is, again, very egotistical. I agree with you, okay? But it is. So last night I did a live stream, and there's a lot of stuff I wanted to address. There was some strife. There was people fighting in the chat, and I like people to get along, right? I like people to get along. And also globally, I see, the civil war in America or the Western world, however you want to define it, is inching very, very, very quickly towards a kinetic civil war, right? That actual real conflict. So I spoke about that. I have to tell you, I knocked it out of the park. I think it was a pretty good one. I'm pretty darn proud of it, so I am releasing it. I don't normally do this, right? I go back and release stuff from my live streams, but I don't normally release my opening monologue, but I'm really happy with this one, right? I think it's... listen, if anybody wants to tell me where they disagree with, that'll be great. You want to come on the channel? More than welcome. Genuinely more than welcome. You want to talk about it in the comments? More than welcome. I would love to hear your point of view. Like, share, subscribe, all these things are Fandabby. And you know it. Fandabby double dozy. Fandabby double dozy. I'll say Fandabby triple dozy. Listen, if you know who the Crankers are, you wouldn't you go against their rating system of good and bad. If you don't know who the Crankers are, look, I had to tell you, your life is meaningless and empty. Okay, now I have to tell you who the Crankers are. The Crankers are a really weird double act of a husband and wife, and the wife, who's quite short, and the husband's quite big, dresses up as a little schoolboy, and he plays the character of a naughty schoolboy, and it's wee Jimmy Cranky, and it's always, I don't know, it's kind of awful, but I love it, right? I absolutely love it. That was, so wee Jimmy Cranky's catchphrase was, Fandabby double dozy, and it was just weird, but it's part of my childhood, that's all I can tell you. Fine, like, share, subscribe, and comment. Let me know what you think. That is very, very good to let me know what you think. Even if you especially if you disagree with me, that'd be great. Like, share, subscribe, comment. YouTube loves the sharing, right? YouTube gets excited at the sharing, and I like to excite people. That's me. So if you can hit that share button, that'd be fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much. And if you sign up to my Substack below. What's the Substack? It's my email newsletter where you keep informed about all my glittering content. I put content out every day, like every single day. If ever content isn't being put out, it's called YouTube has banned me, right? And they are eager to do that, right? I am speaking terrible heresies here. It's specifically in this video, right? So who knows how long it's going to be alive. But anyway, if you sign up to my Substack, you all know where I am. I'm on Rumble. I have an alternative YouTube channel. Frankly, I would love the good Lord to smite YouTube and Google in general, and we all just move over to Rumble, because I'm still monetized over there. So, okay, speaking of being monetized, I also have a pay Substack. I put out, I put comic books out on my free one. I also put it on pay one. So while I'm serializing right now, you're getting 2 more issues this month, and you'll get the first one as well. Biblical Bible source, 80 creators, rationalists, and rogues. This is a graphic novel. Look at the thickness of that. You can beat a well to death with it, baby. I don't recommend that. Don't do that. It's not a nice thing. But yeah, you get that on the paid Substack. That's $5 a month. You want to send me a couple of bucks? I am not going to stop you, right? I am not going to stop. Somebody in a comment on Facebook about a video about the Orville, which is a TV show, if you don't know, said, "Oh, I'm just a corporate shill." I'm like, honestly, no corporation has offered to pay me at all for anything, and if they did, I would certainly take it. But no one's lining up to do that. No one's lining up to that. Fine. With that all said, let me hand over to me from last night. And I say, when I look at myself in the past, I go, man, I was a virile and handsome, attractive man. Look what's happened to me in the time since I made this video, the 12 hours or so since I made this video. I have not aged well. Let's be fair. Anyway, I will hand you back to my younger, more beautiful self, and then come back right at the end to say, "Have a good day." Here it is. I'm handing over to me. The theme of tonight was the song I was just listening to. I like to have if I have a minute or two before a stream, I listen to a song. I just picked one at random. It was the Beatles All Together Now, right? I freaking love that song, right? I love that song, and I want to be our raison d'etre, right? And we're going to be, because I think it's very important in this day and age with what's going on where we're finding ourselves in space and time, right? And we are finding ourselves in. I don't know. It's like, can we all agree this is crazy? We're in crazy times. Good. I mean, really, we are. But we are. But there's also been strife in the chat, which always upsets me. Right? I'm never happy. I'm never happy when people aren't happy. And I know it's a bit, simplistic, but it really is true. That is actually the key to me. I'm never happy when people are unhappy. Right? So we're going to start like, I'm not going to. You know what? I don't want to go into the details of what was going on. I don't think that's healthy. You know, I'm speaking to somebody who was really trapped in like this cycle of anger and hatred and conflict, right? That grew out of control. Dwelling on the actual the thing that triggers everything isn't helpful. Know this, you're probably right. Okay, if you're pissed off, people normally get pissed off for a reason, right? Could be the other person pissed you off unintentionally. That happens a lot. Could be they pissed you off intentionally. I don't know. I would just say I'll say this. I'm trying to think the right way of going at this. Okay. So there was once this great Bible sage. I think Hillel. Was it Hillel? I think it was Hillel. And somebody went up to him and said, "Could you tell me, the essence of reality? Everything. We call it Torah, right? Can you tell us that standing on one leg?" And he said, "Sure." And he said, "It's v'ahavta l'recha kamocha. Love your fellow like yourself, right?" Now, why is that good advice? I'm going to tell you why it's good advice on a personal level following this, right? Love your fellow. Now, what does that mean? We all give ourselves a pass, right? We all act badly. Speaking of somebody who's a bit of a naughty boy sometimes, right? We all act badly, but we all are able to forgive ourselves, right? Don't excuse ourselves. Look, we have a story, right? There's a reason you're waking up naked in an unfurnished apartment with a dead albatross, and you're naked, and you're in Morocco, right? There's a reason. You might not know what the reason is, right? But that's what I'm saying. I really have no idea how we got there. Anyway, love your fellow yourself. You know how you give yourself a pass and you're an advocate for yourself. Do that for others, especially when they piss you off. Because I don't know. I mean, there's always like even if somebody's crazy, right? I mean, literally batshit crazy, right? And they're doing things to attack you, right? Because they're crazy. If you went inside their crazy rationing, their not functioning brain, it would make sense. Here is a reason for doing what they do. Most conflict is misunderstanding. I would give each other a pass, right? If you can, your life will be better for it. I'm gonna explain to you why your life is better for it. So there's a neighbor of mine who I really, really like and respect. I do both those things, right? Now, why do I do that? It's hard to explain without sounding insanely arrogant, but okay. But this the only way around doing it, right? Normally when I talk to people, I've got to cut up my thoughts into like tiny little chunks, right? Tiny little chunks. and feed them like a baby into the mouth, like it's a baby bird. Like, and it's just take ideas, break it down. It takes a long time, and then you got to hope you don't hit any like emotional objection, right? It's like, it's very hard, very hard. So this neighbor of mine, very smart, which I like, and witty and funny and clever. I always have respect for someone who, if they can get in a debate with me, right, can beat me and do it with a caustic, funny insult, right? That I have so much respect for that. I think I get that because that's what my mother was like, right? And that's like, I'm like, yeah, I always have a lot of respect for somebody who can go toe to toe with me, and I don't have to slow down for, right? So the other thing about it, this person is my window into another universe, right? And it's a fascinating window. It's that other universe that's in extreme turmoil, right? I would say hasn't had a good week, right? Didn't have a good week last week. So it's I understand everything in like a Jewish biblical prism, right? That's how I always like in terms of like being being good to each other, right? The person to always look at is Joseph. Joseph's a multicolored coat, right? So Joseph he had his 11 brothers literally want to kill him. I mean, like, and work hard to do so and sell him into slavery, where he should have become like, some kind of gay sex slave, right? That's what should have happened. And they knew that's what was going to happen. He was a good-looking lad, now, Joseph, right? And then after they met each other after 30 years, whatever, and they find out he's still alive, and they're terrorized. He's got their lives in their hands, and he forgives them and he lets it go. He moves on, right? Even so, those brothers spend the rest of life terrified of him, that he's going to turn around and kill him. They never see him, right? They never see him for him, right? They never see him for the loving brother that he was, right? And here's the archetype of a loving brother, because he looked after them and he knew they hated him, right? He knew it. Why? Because he's their brother, right? And we're all brothers. I think that's the way I look at the world, mate. I mean, I know I sound like a bit of an old hippie, but I am a bit of an old bloody hippie. Anyway, not been a good week. So what I think is going on is this. And again, I look at everything through a crazy religious thing, prism. And it's just the way I do that, things normally happen the way I think they will. And it's very disturbing. But it actually, I mean, okay. Do you remember a week ago me saying, I think it's going to kick off in the next few weeks, right? I think we're on the precipice, right? Do you remember that, right? In the history books, this is a match being lit, right? It's going to take incredible skill and diplomacy and tact and intelligence, right? And discernment from both, the general public but more importantly, the government and the leadership. So we're all screwed, right? Yeah, I understand that. We're all that's never going to work out, right? Yes, but what I think is going on is this, right? I think we're experiencing something, and I've been saying this for a couple of years. We're experiencing something akin to the Exodus, right? Sociologically, it's so far beat for beat, right? The plague of blood was essentially felt exactly the same way as the American defeat in Afghanistan. And you can only call it defeat when they ended up giving the enemy military 70 billion in arms. That's not a win, mate. That's not a win. Okay, that's a bad day. But like that was very, very similar to the Plague of Blood, because the Plague of Blood was to demonstrate that the Nile was the source of Egypt's power, right? And nothing was safe, right? Nothing was safe, and they weren't all powerful. And it felt the same way because they had magic back then. Again, according to my, wacky worldview. So, this friend of mine, right, has a completely different world. They are in this other bubble, right? There's two ways of looking at the world right now. You could say that Donald Trump was awful, right? Absolutely awful. And finally, American people realized they rose up and they threw him off, and then he staged a coup, right? which nearly succeeded, and now finally justice is being served, right? That's one way of looking at the world. I don't think that way matches reality. Right? I don't think that way matches reality at all. Now, we all think our way of looking at the world matches reality, but here's what I think is going on. I think God is making it impossible to believe in this. In Judaism we call it treif. It's not kosher, but treif sounds so much better. It's like it sounds worldview, which I think is represented by the Biden White House. I mean, it's a completely anti-God worldview, right? I mean, so we got the issue of abortion going on right now, and the thing is, to live in that bubble, you cannot pop that bubble, right? You cannot look at alternative media sources, right? You cannot entertain different ideas. You can't do it because it's built on quicksand. It's a lattice work built on absolute quicksand, right? I mean, let's say everything's really predicated on that worldview. I mean, let's say Joe Biden actually did win. He became president, right? Let's say, when all the legal votes were tallied up, he actually won. I'm open to that possibility. I'm very open to it, right? It could be. People hated Trump. They didn't realize how good they had it. It could be. I'm not saying no, not possible. I'm saying it was very suspicious. And it just was. And it's only got more suspicious ever since. Now, I might be wrong, but all you had to do is right there and then open those ballot boxes and show they weren't all filled out by Mickey Mouse and signed by Stacey Abrams, right? If they were signed at all. Right? That's all you had to do. But instead, you jumped up and down and called me a racist. I'm like, what? You call me, oh, you're silly. I mean, you're a silly yokel. You're a silly yokel that's been taken in by the evil mastermind, Donald Trump. How many times do I need to be proved right? The Hunter Biden laptop completely destroys the worldview. Completely. Above and beyond what's on it, which shows, Joe Biden using his political influence and threatening Ukraine to fire somebody investigating Burisma, who his son was on the board of, and they had joint bank accounts. That's when they weren't sharing porn. That's weird, okay? Listen, I whatever you are in your own private life, but I think porn's an individual thing. It's a personal thing. I don't think that's something you want to be sharing with your father. What's wrong with you? You're weird. And then you had this, diary come out of, who was it? Was it Biden's granddaughter? Oh my God, it's not good, okay? It's not good. It's not good. Anyway, I digress. Let's say he won, right? Let's say, okay? How do you expect anybody to trust the institutions when you've been screaming about it for the last 4 years? How do you expect anybody? You've been screaming for 4 years. How do you expect anybody sane to trust an institution again? Right? That's where we are because you were crazy for 4 years, what made you more crazy is how successful it was, right? Like we had misery under Biden for 8 years, right? Misery getting worse and worse. Then the sun came out, and we all made money. Do you not remember? We were all happy, apart from you screaming relentlessly, okay? So eventually, after you burnt down the city after city during the summer of mostly peaceful protests, people said, I will do anything if you just shut up, right? Just shut up. I'll vote for him. He could win, right? I could believe it, right? But to have any credibility, one needs to have an equal standard, right? What's that thing from the Babylon Bee? I put it on Facebook. I thought it was very, very funny. If I can find it. Oh, here it is. I'll pull it out for you. And the thing about Babylon Bee is it's very accurate. Everything Yeah, sorry. His daughter showered with Biden. That's really creepy. I mean, but look, one time I met a rabbi, and I don't know if it was on purpose or not, but he kissed me on the lips, right? It was really weird. I didn't like it. I wasn't on board, right? And it was a bit weird because he was my boss. But that's the creepiest thing that's ever happened to me. You don't shower with, like, that's just weird. Anyway, Dems Paul's January 6th hearings to call for insurrection, essentially. It's you got to have one single standard, right? You got to have one single standard, and so, but from their worldview is Trump obviously lost because everybody threw off his evil shackles and saw him for the evil charlatan that he was, right? And then he staged a coup and an insurrection, but you need to be able to analyze these statements, right? Was this really the most safest and secure election of all time? If it was, why did you gag anybody questioning that? That sounds like you're very insecure about it. Oh, of course, distrusting institutions. Didn't you do that for 4 years? And it was okay when you did it? But no, but you were right. And here's the thing. You insist you guys are right. I've got somebody called Tristan, do not know who it is. But and there's so many times. It's been like, I mean, every time. But anyway, the counter by the laptop destroys the worldview because that does demonstrate a collusion between, the intelligence services, FBI, CIA, NSA, the media, social media, entertainment media, social media, news media, and big tech. I can't leave out Apple or Google, and the Democratic Party to change the election. That actually happened. So you can't tell me it's insane that I'm considering there's a conspiracy between the NSA, CIA, FBI, Democratic Party, a large element of the Republican Party. Don't get me wrong. No, it's not black and white, mate, right? Social media, news media, entertainment media, big tech, to forward a false narrative when that actually happened, right? That actually happened, and it's not just once now, is it? Right? And here's the thing. People with that worldview believe everything with all their heart, right? They believe with all their heart and all their might that a critical race theory being taught in school was a false lie. And then, how many examples? How many examples would you want? Critical race theory applied principles within textbooks over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. At that point, you're going to say, oh, endorsed by the teachers union, put in by the. At that point, you're going to say, oh, there is critical race theory applied principles with being taught in schools. It's not a lie. It actually happens, right? Or transgender policy. Well, what, you want to tell me you're not teaching children to give each other blowjobs or to give adults blowjobs? I'm terribly sorry. I don't have my copy of Gender Queer handy, which is an actual book in actual schools. It's like everything they said was like everything you said was crazy happened. Well, a slippery slope from gay marriage to try to teach your children like to take. It happened. What do you want me to say? I'm not making up reality. It all happened, right? Carl Rittenhouse, they all believed it. Jesse Smollett, right? Black people didn't believe it. Black people are like, yeah, but white people believed it. Oh boy. So what's going on? Because I want to remind you, right? My friend who is in this worldview, right, isn't stupid. At least as smart as me. Probably smart. Isn't really not. Really, really just isn't uneducated. 100 times more educated than me. What's going on, right? I mean, to me, this seems like we call it sheker in Judaism, obvious falsehood, right? And no doubt they feel the same way about me, right? No, but it's then, who do you believe? How can anybody possibly believe? CNN, MSNBC, Fox News. Fox News has found itself a little niche with Tucker Carlson reporting stuff on new media from about 3 weeks ago, right? Selectively, right? And everyone's like, oh my God, this is incredible. Yeah, just go and look on YouTube. It's there 3 weeks earlier, right? Go and watch Tim Pool. See, Russell Brand. There's so many options, right? There's so many options. People who are actually leftists. Russell Brand hated Trump. Tim Pool didn't want to vote for him initially. He voted for him second time round. He doesn't think the election was stolen, right? These are reasonable people. They're not crazy people like me. But they cannot, like it when you're in a cult, you can't talk to anybody outside because then you question, the premises, right? I mean, again, you were all suicidal at 3 a.m, right? The night of the election. You knew Trump was going to win. It was ahead. It was impossible for him to lose, right? And then said, no, stop counting. It's totally normal. We've never seen that before. Now, and then when they started counting, which was 4 hours before 2 hours before they said they would, the count had changed mysteriously, right? And that's just a mail-in ballot. Okay, show us. Right? There's all these cell phone tracking data showing multiple drops of in these unguarded drop boxes. Going from the Stacey Abrams' office, another Democrat office in Georgia. That actually happened, right? There's enough there where you can go, the idea that this was unquestionable, it's just not true. And again, everybody saying it has been wrong about everything else, right? I mean, everything. Do you remember when you said it was ridiculous that the Trump campaign and the Clinton campaign and the FBI together spied on the Trump campaign? Do you remember when you said that was ridiculous? Do you know that was confirmed in court about a month ago? It all comes out in the end when it doesn't matter. And the weird thing is, when it does, it's like it was never there. You can't live in a universe where there wasn't a Hunter Biden laptop, where that wasn't suppressed, right? 1 in 6 voters, Biden voters in those mysterious swing states, right? Which where the math goes completely insane. But don't look at it. I mean, the rolls are completely out of balance. But the people there were either Democrats or people who really very much want to believe it, or would get threatened with having their houses burnt down. And don't tell me that didn't happen. I watched it happen. I watched the houses be surrounded by Black Lives Matter and Antifa, right? And that actually happened, right? Excuse me for being suspicious. It sounds very, very suspicious. But I'm open to him winning. Don't get me wrong. I really am. Absolutely am. I'm not open to say it's not so. So then goes to January 6th, right? Okay, so January 6th has a lot of similarities to the Gretchen Whitmore kidnap plot, which was basically the FBI, a few yokels, right? Looks like there's this guy called Ray Epps who was really the mastermind of it, right? He was telling everybody to get in, they're going to get in the Capitol tomorrow, riling everybody out. He was there when they broke down the gates. He had something to do it, and he's being hidden by the FBI, right? Probably has something to do with it, right? I don't really trust you, right? You got to have some kind of single standard, right? You can't say the riots and the autonomous zones, which was basically said we are insurrecting from America. We are not part of you. Was not an insurrection where that was, right? But you say, oh no, it's because he lost and he was lying. So there's too much doubt to believe that without with crystal clarity. That all your sources have been utterly discredited, right? I mean, again, it's not like it was. I'm not saying it was a shadowy back room, right? John Brennan, James Clapper were on freaking CNN and MSNBC. It wasn't done quietly, right? James Comey briefed Trump about the Still dossier and the piss tape, and then leaked it to the New York Times. And the only reason he briefed him was to be able to leak it. Again, all this happened. How do you expect anybody to have any trust in any institution? And you go, oh my God, you don't trust institutions? And then the Supreme Court goes, oh, that's not right. I said, screw that institution. Oh my God. Okay, they were perfect when they said they wouldn't take the case from Texas to Pennsylvania. We love those institutions, and that proves we're right. But now they're evil. We must burn them at the stake, right? So this worldview isn't real. The worldview, and what's the worldview? The worldview of anybody Republican, anybody not like you, wants there to be no abortion to control women, which is what I believe they believe, right? They believe this is some step towards a handmaid's tale, right? This is a desire to control and suppress women. I don't believe that stands up. I'm sorry. I just don't believe that stands up at all. I'm willing to agree that it's a woman's body, right? The fetus is gestating within a woman's body. And I think as it's gestating within a woman's body, the woman has domain over it. I mean, just in a legal matter, right? It's like this boy. You can ask him what he wants. You can't, right? Right? It's her body, right? She has control over that. I agree with you. Is it moral to kill something? Is it killing something? See, that's where it comes down. Like most people, there's such insane logic that they keep being pumped into, and it's just like insane premise on insane premise on insane premise. You got to go right to the root. But one of these things was that this is awful because a handful of people, a minority, have complete control over the minority and it's of the majority, and it's wrong. I'm like, well, what are you talking about? Well, these judges were voted in by presidents who didn't win the popular vote. I'm like, what the hell? So therefore, they're all okay. It's a constitutional republic. I'm English. Bloody hell, I'm telling you, it's a constitutional republic. Yes, population centers are densely populated with people. The food is where the red states are, ding-a-ling. That's why you have a union, right? That's why you're so freaking strong. Why are you the strongest world power the world has ever seen? Because of your union. It's worth something. And the problems America is facing is because it's lack of union, right? Because you've been sold a false bill of goods that anybody doesn't agree with you, hates you. That's not true. How do you know a fetus isn't alive? Like, how do you, look, my personal opinion, I think abortion should be around. I believe the Bill Clinton thing sounds reasonable. Safe, legal, and rare. But these 9-month abortions, it's obscene. These postpartum abortions. But here's the thing, and this is really what it boils down to. Does life have any sanctity? And is it intrinsically sacred? Or not, right? Because if you don't believe so, it doesn't matter if you kill a baby. It doesn't matter if it's a newborn, right? It only matters if it's connected with other people, right? And it might upset people, might hurt people. But it hasn't connected with anyone. Yeah, kill it. What's the difference? It's meaningless. It's just they say it's a bunch of cells. It's still a bunch of cells. It doesn't make a difference. If life doesn't have sanctity, life doesn't have sanctity. And that's what it boils down to. Now, I understand abortions are something that are often necessary, right? And I don't think most are on board for them being prohibited in cases of medical need, rape, incest, psychological distress, genuine psychological distress. I don't think anybody rational will feel that. Most right-wing people don't feel that way, right? That I know, right? Most people aren't cruel. And you've been sold a false bill of goods by thinking that they are, that they're yokels, that they've been taken over. No. And I'll remind you, they keep being proved right about everything, right? Everything. Have you seen the gas prices? Everything. Trump predicted all of this, right? He was right. Again, right? Again, how many times do you have to be proved wrong? Anyway, I digress. And really, why going to the state seems reasonable to me, because the state should reflect the populace of that area. Why should the people in New York, which is more densely populated, have placed there what I consider their completely immoral judgment that life has no sanctity on the people of Alabama who do believe life has sanctity. Why is that okay? It's not. It's not okay, right? But it's not. I don't believe this is the end of reproductive rights for women. That's insane. And the terror of where it's going to, like, they're going to stop contraception, they're going to stop interracial marriage. It's just ridiculous, right? The slippery slope happens, right? We've seen it, but that's on your side of the aisle. This ain't like the gun law, yeah. One thing the Uvalde shooting has showed me is you should be armed if you live in America, because you cannot trust the police. And little wonder that you can, after the sum of burning down police stations and saying defund the police. Oh, what a shock that you're left with a completely ineffectual police force. And why would they work when the district attorneys won't charge anybody? Why do you think crime has taken over all your country? It's because you Democrats are insane and failures. It seems that's what the facts of the matter seem to say. But why is God doing this? Why has God made it so obvious? And I think in the next few months, it's going to reach a head, and it's going to get genuinely obvious, right? In a scary way. I think just like the Exodus, there is the point of the Exodus was, at the end of it, the world didn't have this. The idolatrous worldview was pretty much destroyed, right? The way Egypt thought the world was this thing called primarchy, where you have one person and one person under him and people under them. People like, basically you make a pyramid, right? That was their raison d'etre, and that was destroyed, right? So I think this Biden worldview is going to be destroyed by it. And you see, I like and respect this person. I genuinely do, right? And I think God's coming and to red pill them, right? And it's I would like it to be. My motivation is this. I would like it to be as painless as possible. And it's going to be a painful, obviously. And I've really put myself in that place. Like, what would it be like if I was completely proved wrong, right? What would it feel like? And I bet it not nice, right? I understand. If we live in the world now that they said would be if Trump became president. This is the world we live in, right? And the world we lived in when he was president was the opposite, right? It was just the way it was. Right? What would it feel like? And I don't think it will feel good, right? But I think the more one resists God trying to tell you something, the louder he's going to scream it, right? So yeah, I implore people to go to alternative media sources, because once you do, because I was mentally ill, right, for extended periods of time, and the thing that cured me, right, was actually two things. It's one, Ricky Gervais saying, the thing about mental illness is you think you're being normal, right? That saved my life. 100% that saved my life, right? Because I went, and I did think I was being, and that's saying that I was like, because I wasn't being normal, right? Right. But the thought that changed it, right, that cured me of this thing, right? And it felt like this invading entity was asking myself, what if things aren't like the way I think they are, right? What if things are not like the way I think they are? And once I did that, it knew it couldn't sustain itself, right? It knew that falsehood couldn't sustain itself. I think it's the same with the current global situation. It's built on this incredible lie of an incredible lie on an incredible lie. And we can see the results of the lies, right? And they all keep being proven to be lies. What, was it? Inflation is transitory, is it? Remember that? Yeah. And like this, and they knew they were lying. Just like Clapper and Brennan knew they were lying when they said it, the laptop was Russian disinformation, right? And I wish I could say the most embarrassing thing on that laptop was Hunter Biden sharing porn with his father. From Pornhub Premium, by the way. Most people I would have thought would find the unlimited free porn on the internet enough. No! Hunter Biden wants the Pornhub Premium, right? And what was he searching? Sad MILF widow porn, right? That basically his brother, right? He had an affair with his brother. It's just, And he shared it with his father, okay? Ew. Right? And that's not the most embarrassing thing on that laptop. Or the most indictable thing on the laptop. And at the same time, this incredible use of the DOJ as a political tool, right? Going after the people. Oh, but it was an insurrection. Well, was it? Let's have that conversation then. Tell us who Ray Epps was. Let's have a real investigation. Was it really? I don't think that's why they want a one-sided narrative, right? If it was, let's see what it really was. But they instead of going after Antifa, people who burnt down, they go after the parents who don't want their kids indoctrinated with racism and perversions, right? At the freaking window, what's it look like to you? Like little girls are allowed to give themselves double mastectomies. Boys are on chemical castration. Yes, this sounds like the end of the world to me. Yes, okay, yes. If I could take a snapshot of where the world is now and take it back to 2020, we wouldn't believe it. It's gone insane. It has gone insane. That's why I think it's the end of days. I implore everyone to try to go for news sources that you don't agree with, right? I find Russell Brand very good, right? Because I really disagree with a lot of his premises on life, but I like his honest evaluation. So and again, if you're somebody who hates Trump, that's a good place to start, right? That is a good place to start. Because here's what I think's going on, right? There's a we have a guest coming on in a bit, by the way. So that'll be next. Just let everyone know. But here's what I think is going on. There's this thing called the six constant mitzvahs. A mitzvah is a commandment from the Old Testament, right? And the final one of it is don't go after the desires of your hearts or your eyes. So the first question you got to ask yourself is, well, why not? They sound pretty groovy. I like those things, right? That's pretty good. But I hate. Here's what I think it's saying on a somewhat deeper level, right? The way they place words means something in biblical scholarship. Like they compare the Israelites, right? When they came to Mount Sinai, they said they were one people and one heart, right? How the generation that built the Tower of Babel, right? They were one heart, one people. So they put the word heart first with the Tower of Babel to show they were driven by their passions, right? Their lusts. Where they did the Israelites, they put the nation first because they're driven by a national revelation, right? So the way you place words matter. So don't go after the desires of your hearts or your eyes. So there's two ways you can experience reality, right? You can bring in data through your eyes, for your senses, and then you can evaluate it, and you can have an emotional resonance from that. And the heart is the captain of the ship. The heart will always drive you, right? That's why these social media companies work the way they do. That's why all these media companies work the way they know the heart is captain of the ship. If you control the heart, you control the person, right? And that's why everything's such an emotional argument. You control the heart, you control the person. Do you remember all the heart-wrenching stuff about Ukraine? You control the heart, you control the person. Nobody gives a crap about Ukraine anymore, right? You control the heart, you control the person, right? And it's as temporary as that. So, well, what's going on is this: our hearts are being controlled by these multi-billion international forces. Yes, they are absolutely being controlled, and you know it, and I know it, right? By algorithms, where our hearts are being controlled, and we are going after we have our passion, and they feed through our senses, and then what we see matches our passion, right? We can only see the thing that matches our passion, right? That's the mistake I believe we make, and I think it's being done purposely to us. Like these social media platforms in general, they're designed to create hatred, right? The more you can panic and put somebody at a war footing, the more you can have them on your platform. You are, like, what is the product of Facebook, right? How do they make money? What is the product of Twitter? What is the product? You You're a part of them, and you are. It's just how it works, right? I'm not. This isn't conspiracy. This is actually how it works. Selling your personal data is how they make billions upon billions every day, right? By your participation, right? You being controlled. That's how they make money, right? So, and I have to tell you, it offends me that I believe my friends being controlled because, again, really smart person, funny, moral, right? And it offends me. But yeah. So listen. So all together now. Remember that? That's how it started. That's the theme. All together now. We're gonna be all together. And we're going to have differences, right? We're going to have differences. And I tell you, I am so glad that these people are in my lives because my life is richer for it, right? And I like that they have a different point of view than me, right? And I like they can speak up and they can defend it, right? It's good. It's a good thing for the world, right? So all together now, it just, the bottom line, here's where I'm going to get it off and then we're going to get into geeky stuff, right? What's the bottom line? What does God want, right? What the hell does he want with you, right? What does God want? God wants you to be happy. God wants you to be the ultimate you. Well, the best you, the happiest you can be, the most fulfilled you can be, the most actualized you can be. That's what God wants, right? And honestly, the commandments, when you look at them in reality, that they are there to facilitate that. If you every time I look at, we had this awful situation in my town a couple of years ago, and honestly, if they had just followed what the Torah, what the Old Testament, the biblical thing was to do, anybody had done that, it would have worked out better for every person involved. But nobody did. It was incredible to me, right? The function, and you don't have to believe it, right? You don't have to believe in this stuff. I'm just saying the function of these commandments is to make you a happier person, right? To give you a better life. So all together now, and that's the sense. That's the function of Torah. That's the we started off saying about the sage, I think Hillel, right? They are saying like, can you tell us what the essence of Torah is standing on one leg? We have to all together now, right? We're all together now. My name's Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.